If your CPL is up, don't assume your ads are to blame. Start with where your clicks are going to. Today, we're breaking down the 4 paid landing pages that stop wasted clicks and actually move buyers forward. Let's get started on today's episode of Closing Time. Thanks for tuning into Closing Time, the show for go-to-market leaders. I'm Val Riley, head of marketing for Unbounce and Insightly. And today I'm happy to welcome back Tas Bober. She is the founder of the Scroll Lab. Welcome back, Tas.
I'm so excited to be back here for round 2 so we can get deeper.
By popular demand, we're so excited to talk to you again. So marketers that are struggling with paid media, and I will tell you, CPLs are a little bit out of control right now, depending on your vertical. They usually have, you say, 1 or 2 landing page problems, either too many landing pages, or they're still sending traffic to home pages, which breaks my heart. Break that down for me.
Yeah, so I think you're making a sacrifice in either regard, right? Where if you're sending traffic to your homepage, you're like, wow, we've put in all this work on our homepage. We've gotten all the stakeholder buy-in. This has to be approved and is the page that we can use. And the page ends up being this afterthought, right? We put so much thought into the ads, the campaigns, building out the structure. And then we're like, send it to the homepage. It's probably relevant. The problem there, and I always use Old Navy as an example. So if you're out of the country and you're like, what is Old Navy? It's just like a retail store that I love here. You go to Old Navy, you're looking on Google, you're like, I need pants. You search for pants and you see an Old Navy ad for pants. You're like, great, amazing. You click on it. What are you expecting? You are being expected, right, to go to the pants page where then you can filter and sort. What if you were taken and dumped to the homepage? By the way, this is actually a very true Old Navy example. They love to do this, which is just dump me on the homepage. And then I have to go find the pants. It's like, you knew what I was looking for. So you have this message mismatch that's happening and now punishable by Google's laws of advertising, right? We covered that in the last podcast. Go listen to the first episode we did together. We covered the relevancy bit that Google will now punish you for. So that's not going to do anymore. You can't be, I'm just going to throw it to the homepage and the website will take care of itself, right? So that's one side, which is almost like the lazy hack. Now there's the other side where there are the marketers who are doing too much. So now and that was me, okay? Where I was internal, I'm like, every keyword, every variation, we're going to make sure that it's relevant. So we had 60 landing pages and we had to manage all 60. We had to build all 60. Anytime there was a small change, we had to go change all 60. It was insane. You don't need to do that either. And the problem with that side is it's costly, right? It takes bandwidth that teams just don't have anymore. It takes money. Again, teams don't have as much anymore. And now with AI, everyone's like, you got to move faster. You don't have time to sit there and make 60 pages really high quality. So I found a middleman compromise from both my time in-house and then coming out. And I was like, oh, you can only have a set number of pages, still be relevant, but still not kill your team to create.
Yeah, so let's find the middle ground between no landing pages, using that home page, which is dreadful, we've established, and 60 landing pages where you're overdoing it and you're overburdening either your team or your agency, right? Okay, so these 4 important landing page types that every B2B team needs. Let's talk about them and what role they play. And I know you have a good nickname for them, so everyone's going to walk away from this podcast and know that number 4. So you call them the core 4.
I call them the core 4. And the reason why I think that's important before we jump into them is before I came out and I was doing this strictly on the marketing side, and I was in-house head of digital and website for multiple B2B companies. Something I had to do often was put together a business case to justify purchasing any kind of tool or partnering with any type of agency or vendor, right? Because marketing is under the scrutiny of we got to justify every dollar spent. You know better than me, Val, right?
Well, I mean, especially now, we're still finishing up our budget cycle test, so it's the gray hairs are coming out. You're speaking my language, so go ahead.
Yeah. And so I knew in order to get approval from my CMO and my Val, I had to make a really good case. And this is true for any champion that's internal. So I had a simple 5-page slide deck that I would use to justify any kind of purchase I wanted to make. But to put this 5-slide deck together, you know how much hunting I had to do and figuring out? I'm like, why isn't everyone just providing this information? You have it. Just provide it to me and make my job easier. And guess what? Deals will move faster because you've closed my research time, right? So I took that and put it into landing pages. And I'm like, what if we were just honest and upfront from the beginning? What would that look like? One is an overview page, which is matching my first slide, which says, okay, here's the capability of us as a company. Here are the problems that we exist to solve, right? You have that problem. We exist because this problem exists in the market. Here are some agnostic insights into why, right, this is the better way. And here's how we solve it as a company, right? Social proof, objections, and then the ask.
So let me pause you there because some people might say that's your homepage of your website, but I would digress and say it is not. So what are the small differences between the page you just described and a homepage that, so we can drive that point home for folks listening?
Yeah, great question. Either we call this like kind of a product overview if it's a single product to an audience, but if you have multiple products and multiple personas, we would call this a primary overview page. The reason why you want to have this page that is separate from your homepage is the homepage is kind of like a quilt of opinions, right? So HR wants to put their awards on there. Product wants to put the latest feature launch. You, the CMO, want to own the hero copy. So what ends up happening is anyone who works internally at a B2B company knows if any marketer attempts to change the homepage copy without getting at least 16 approvals, like that ain't happening. So I always tell marketers, what you can do, if there's some of that information on there, fine, clone the homepage, pull it out, right? And then make adjustments from there. You want a page, especially for paid programs, where you, the marketer, has all this control over the testing elements, where you can apply conversion rate, best practices and principles on there. Single CTA, you remove all the fluff, get the awards out of there. These, what is the first touch information? If someone's never seen you, interacted with you before, can they come there and just get the juice and essence of what you do as a company, what your product does without the distractions, right? So it's kind of a marketer's sandbox where they have a lot more control. They don't have to worry about the stakeholders' opinions and freaking someone out.
Great differentiation. Thank you so much, because I feel like we field that question a lot, and that was a great explanation. Okay, so the second of the core four.
Okay, so second of the core four, now you're like, okay, we are so great. We're amazing. But then the buyer's sitting there going, okay, but there's 100 of you, right? So this comparison alternatives page doesn't have to be one-on-one, like a B2B loves to do the like feature war and comparison chart and like we're better than the other guy, that kind of thing. Yeah, but more often than not,
guilty as charged, by the way.
Whoops, shots fired. Sorry. And those pages are great and they're valuable, but it's good to have one kind of umbrella comparison page, because it's funny. The data shows from Harvard Business, from Gartner's research, they show that about 60% of deals are lost to status quo, which is the buyer doing nothing, than to your competitors, right? How many times I looked at my own deals and I was like, oh, we got to wait. Oh, budget was cut. Oh, because it's hard to change human behavior. So you need to do this comparison of we could stay the same. It's going to take a lot more resources for not a lot of result. It's going to cost us in the long run. We could do kind of half and half. Sure, it's a band-aid fix. Maybe we'll see some returns in a little while. Eventually, that's going to get costly. It's going to be a pain, whatever. We could implement the tool now, maybe more upfront cost, but the potential for a huge increase, a lot of bandwidth released with the team to do other projects. That's how I proposed a lot of those things, and that's how we structure this comparison page.
I do love that because you're right. So many deals are lost to status quo because the pain of change isn't greater than the pain of the same, right? So putting that all on one page and giving your buyer, who might be your champion or your advocate, that ammunition to go to bat for this purchase, it just makes so much sense.
Now, if you're thinking, well, how would people come to this page? It would be keywords like best landing page tools, best landing page options. Can I build a landing page with just my CMS? Now you're doing more of this guide rather than selling and saying, truthfully, here are your options in the market. There's pros and cons to both. Here are those pros, here are those risks. Here's what we offer if you do want to, look at that. So yeah, you can do some of the selling in the bottom, but in the beginning, you are kind of guiding them. Are we ready for the third?
Page 3, hit me with it.
This is my favorite. If someone types in Unbounce reviews, Unbounce testimonials, now they're kind of bought into you. They're like, you know what? I am going, Unbounce sounds great. I just want to see some proof. I want to see some references. I want to see companies similar to me, people similar to me, right? And they type in that. What happens typically today is when you type in company name reviews, you go to G2, Trust Radius. There's a lot of agnostic sources, Reddit, and Reddit's not nice half the time. So no. So it's so funny to me that companies are not controlling the narrative when it comes to this almost like mid to bottom funnel experience, right? What we end up doing is creating a landing page that is kind of a voice of the customer page. So we will bundle that with a bunch of proof. Now, I've seen users will not really read a long case study. So how do you make those work for you? You can break a case study down into 3 different parts. You can use it to tell a specific use case story. You can pull out just the quotes. You can pull out specific examples of a problem and then the solution and do a summary. Some of the quick wins that you saw from that. We put light testimonials, which are shorter ones that you can put at the beginning of the page, the logos, things like that. And we bombard this page with everybody saying stuff about us except us.
It's so powerful. Thinking about my own journey as a buyer, if I can find that type of page and I can see someone with a job title similar to mine, that's a win because I feel like I'm actually asking a friend, right? Or someone who understands my needs as based on the position that I'm in. Okay, the fourth of the core four, let's get to it.
This is the one, then we go from the least popular to the most popular. Everyone loves this page. When someone thinks of a landing page, this is the immediate page they think of, which is the demo or a sign up page, right? Immediately. If you close your eyes and you picture a landing page, it's that. The form is top left, I can picture it. Some copy on the right-hand side, some nonsense below, and like sign up, right? Button colors, we're testing it. So this is the most common page. And it's funny because marketers will create 60 of these with just a slight keyword variation when they realize that, in fact, it is the opposite what they're doing. They're asking for a transaction probably too early in the journey, right? If it's someone who's a first touch point, it's like, why are you asking for my information already? And therefore, we have the 4 pages that kind of take them on a journey from first touch point. What are the other alternatives in the market? Oh, okay, well, I'm kind of bought in now. What are my peers saying? Okay, I'm ready to take the next step, whatever that is.
Taz, I love the core 4. What do you say if a marketing team says to you, we just don't have the bandwidth, that's too much of a lift?
The nice part about building these pages, especially for paid, is that you can do it component based. So you don't have to sit there and create every page from scratch, right? You have the problems that you solve for your customers. You can use that same problem block across all the pages. You have your value proposition, what you're highlighting, your differentiation, right? That's your solution block. You can repurpose that across multiple pages. You're laying the expectations of what the sales process is like. That block, again, across all the landing pages. So you don't have to do a lot. You just have to kind of change up the top of the dish. So I always look at it as like a Chipotle reference, right? And so you have all the ingredients already. You've done the work and collected the ingredients, but are you packaging it up like a burrito, a taco salad, whatever the packaging is, right? You're going to highlight that first. So a trust page will have like, 2,000 customers trust Unbounce. That's going to be your hero. But if you are a first touch person and you're coming to the product overview, it's like Unbounce, the landing page, tool, number one landing page tool in the market, whatever. So you're going to kind of do more of an introduction, but it's the same story, just told in different ways based on what users are asking for or looking for.
Got it. Okay, so we had the Old Navy example, we had the Chipotle example. Our audience is all set. Tas, where can folks go if they want to hear more from you on landing pages, B2B landing pages, your specialty?
Yes, find me on LinkedIn. That's the best spot. Tas Bober, TS, and then last name Bober. I also have a landing page resource hub, which now Unbounce is partnered with me on. We're also doing a landing page swipe file, so you'll have examples of all of these pages that we'll be able to launch together. Come there. We post a ton of content, and we're also going to release templates for each of these in the upcoming months together, and it will be available in the Unbounce library as well. So get the education and then go forth and conquer without having to spend a ton of money and without having to exhaust your resources.
Great. So if you heard it right, Tas and Unbounce are joining together to help make those core four even more possible for you. So be looking for that in the coming weeks. Tas, thank you so much. You are the queen. I was going to say you're the queen of B2B landing pages. I think you might be the boss because you're giving me boss energy.
Oh, yes. I love boss way better. That's
Okay.
great. Yeah.
Great. And thanks to all of you for tuning into Closing Time. Remember, you can get this episode and all episodes delivered right to your inbox. Just click the link in the show notes, and we'll see you next week.